Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start by giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahawashi Bahasham, Rekah HaKudash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who will well and teach well, and peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, pushing this word with all truth, righteousness, and sincerity. Shalom, shalom. This is your brother Quan Wath with the Great Millstone Charlotte Camp. Come with a quick lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Yahawashi. And just, land back in off the spirit. The brothers is in right now. You see brothers putting the PSA lessons up in regards to brothers' channels being deleted. Brothers being put on limits as to how many videos they can put up. Right? We see that we're entering into the famine of the word, man. Right? This is the time that the scriptures speak of, where as you read in Amos, actually let's get this here first. Amos 5:11. Right? It says they hate him, or 5:8 slot, or 5:10 slot. Amos 5:10. They hate him that rebuketh in the gate, and they abhor him that speaketh uprightly. Right? Right? So this is what we're seeing being put in action. Right? Esau, Edom, actively, coming after those who are speaking the truth, man. Right? Those who are speaking a narrative contrary to the one that they push in the earth. Right? Because the truth is the only thing that can combat lies. And these lies have been their refuge for so long that, like the scriptures tell us, that their strongholds, right? Their places of comfort, their places of refuge, their safety, so-called, are being overturned, man. Right? It is through this word. So what's their only recourse? Is to cut off access to being able to hear this word, to being able to see, the man preaching this word, right? So this is here in Amos 8:11. Behold, the days will come, saith the Lord power, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh Yahawashi. And that's what we're seeing. It's like that's what we're seeing, man. Right? Your ability to hear, right? To partake in, to take to take part in this feast, right, is being cut off, right, slowly but surely, and soon it's gonna happen faster than we know, man, right, because they have to accelerate their plans, and part of their plan is to cut off the message of Yahweh Yahawashi, to cut off the message of the prophets, man, right? They don't want anybody out here who understands prophecy and can connect it to the scriptures, man, right? Because again, it speaks expressly against their coming ideals, man. The order that they are attempting to establish is being torn down, right? This is it's only what's the word? It's only enemy, man. For lack of better terms, man. But continuing on, it reads, and they shall wander from sea to sea, and from north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord, and shall not find it. So this is the time to take these things in, man, right? To get rooted, get established in Yahweh Yahawashi while you still can, right? Take these lessons in, take these breakdowns in, right? Take these exhortations, right? These spiritual boosters, take all these things in while they're available, because there's going to be a time very soon where the access to it is going to be no more, So let's go here, because I may mention, so we'll go here first. Because it's like the scripture said, this is, 2 Corinthians 10, and we'll start in 2. It reads, but I beseech you, that I may not be bold, I beseech you that I may not be bold when I am present with that confidence wherein I think to be bold against some which think of us as if we walked according to the flesh, right? Because the Spirit is admonishing us to maintain the Spirit, man, right? To separate from the flesh at all costs, right? Because the Spirit is what's going to guide us in these times. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, right? The point, but mighty through the Most High to the pulling down of strongholds, right? So we're in the midst of a spiritual war right now, man, right? Ephesians 6 and 12. You know, we're at war with these principalities. We're at war with these left-hand priesthoods, man. Right? And the word that we're speaking through Yahawashi, as it reads in 2 Thessalonians, the brightness of his coming. And actually, let me grab that first, right? You know, they're combating this word because it's what's pulling down the strongholds that they've established, man, right? So actually, we'll get this word for strongholds first, and then we'll go to that. So this is concordance. Stronghold, Strong's G 3794. It says, to the point of the arguments and reasonings by which a disputant endeavors to fortify his opinion and defend it against his opponent, right? So this is the stronghold that they built up. The stronghold that they built up, right? Over their entire, the from the beginning of their inception, man, right? From the as the scriptures talk about how evils were multiplied in the earth after Alexander died, right? That's when Esau really started to get a strong foothold in global power, man. And from that point on, they've been building these strongholds, and they've just been fortifying them more and more in these times. But what do they have to fortify against? They have to fortify against the truth, but they can't do it because that's what's poking holes in all their arguments, man. That's what's, uncovering all their wicked deeds, right? Uncovering their true history and their true mindset towards the earth, man, right? Showing who the devil is in the earth, right? Who the true wicked one is, right? Being these Edomites, man, right? The one who's pushing these off wayward philosophies and doctrines, right? The man who has to be removed out of power, But this is what they're doing. They're the arguments and reasonings, right? They're reasoning to push forward all these different what's the word? Agendas, right? Right? Their reasonings to push forward these agendas, right? That a disputant endeavors to fortify or build up his opinion and defend it against his opponent. So this is the defense, right, against the word of Yahawashi that they're trying to build, man. But they have to take down the men who are speaking the word, right? Because they can't defend against it, man. So going to just grabbing this in 2 Thessalonians real quick. This is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 8. It reads, and the wicked will be revealed, right? So they're being uncovered, man, right? I think it's in Luke, I believe it's 12 and 2, right? Where it speaks about these things being uncovered, right? Nothing being hid, right? So they're being uncovered. They're trying to stop that uncovering, man, right? It says, and then shall the wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with his spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming, man. Right? The spirit of his mouth being the word, right? The word that he sent down to the prophets, man. And that's why we're gonna see the famine of the word, come soon. Because they have to stop this word from going out because it's destroying them, man. Right? Salakia. They're being consumed with this word, right? They're being overtaken, right? Overcome by this word, and this word being like fire, right? Is burning them up, burning them up. It's burning up those foundations, right? It's burning up the reasonings and defenses that they've established, man, right? So as we go here, because this is why we're seeing the famine of the word, coming into play, man. Right? They have no other escape. This is Isaiah 28:15. It reads, "Because you have said we have made," that's like it. "Because you have said we have made a covenant with death, and with hell are we at agreement. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us. For we have made lies our refuge, and under falsehood have we hid ourselves." And that's what Esau's done, is hid themselves under falsehoods. Now this is talking about, wicked Jake. But you can apply it to the wicked, man. Right? Because they operate in the same manner. Right? So like it says, the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us, because they believe that nothing's going to stop them, right, from accomplishing their goals, man. "It shall not come unto us, for we have made lies our refuge, and under and under falsehood have we hid ourselves." So when you've made lies your refuge, that word refuge, just grab it here real quick. H42:68. It says refuge, shelter, right, from rain or storm, from danger. Right? This is a covering, right, from danger. This is where they run to, right, for protection. So their place of protection is being uprooted through the truth, right? And that's why they're shutting down brothers' channels. That's why they're limiting access to certain internet sites, right? You're gonna see these things happen more and more, right? Because the truth is ripping this foundation of lies up, man. Right? Now let's get this. Let's see, I think it's Isaiah. 59. Yep, it's Isaiah 59 and verse 14. It reads, "And judgment is turned away backward, and justice standeth afar off. For truth is fallen in the street, and iniquity cannot enter." Right? Now, when you read this in the NLT, right, it says, "Our courts oppose the righteous, and justice is nowhere to be found." Being in opposition of truth, man. That's what this system is built on. Right? So now we're starting to see them, attack the truth, more vigorously. Right? They've already admitted that they're losing the information battle, right? So in order to battle disinformation, so-called, they have to reel it back in, right? They're being exposed on all fronts, right? Whether it be through their own tongues falling upon themselves, right, which is the spirit of the Lord, or the prophets out here speaking against them, man. Right? Even you got AI, right? His so-called own creation speaking against him, man. So everywhere that we're seeing, like it says, the truth stumbles in the streets, and honesty has been outlawed. So they're outlawing, speaking the truth, right? They're outlawing speaking. It's not just that. It's anything that's contrary, right, to the narrative that they want pushed in the earth, man. Right? So if you speak contrary to wickedness, like it'll say here, it says, yes, truth is gone, and anyone who renounces evil is attacked. The Lord looked and was displeased to find that there was no justice, right? So anybody, like I said in the KJV, he that departed from evil maketh himself a prey, right? Anybody who separates himself, right, in thought, in indeed, right, are gonna be victimized, man. You know, and that ultimate victimization is gonna come through the denial of the mark of the beast, man. You know, so the famine of the word is just the beginning, right? To show you the speaking points that they don't want in the earth anymore, man. Right? That's why in Revelation 12 and 17, it says this. It says, "And the dragon," it's like it. "And the dragon was wroth with the woman," right? "And went to make war," that going into that war again, "with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of the Most High," and the point, "and have the testimony of Yahawashi HaMashiach," right? So they want that testimony completely wiped out of the earth, man. That's their end goal, you know, because they know if that testimony still exists, then there's a finale for them, man. Right? There's a what's the word, bounds that they cannot pass. You know, there's an end to their kingdom as long as that testimony exists, right? So now they're doing everything in their power, right, to separate it from the earth, right, to take it out of the earth, rather, you know. Let's get this here since I quoted it, and then I'll close out. Because the point being, man, right, the famine of the word is coming soon, right, and that testimony, right, is under attack, right? The testimony of Yahawashi is under attack right now, man. This is Revelation. This is 12, Luke 12, and verse 2. We're reading the NLT. It says, "The time is coming when everything that is covered up will be revealed." Right, so everything is being revealed, and they're trying to stop. This is their attempt to stop these things from being revealed. "And all that is secret will be made known to all." You know, so the internet, like the elders and brothers have been saying, right? The quote that they should have never invented the internet. I think it was John Rockefeller, right? But right, the internet is making everything known to all, man. Everybody has access, right? You know, to these lessons, right? To these prophecies, right? And they have to deny that access now, man, right? Because they're too late in the game, right? For any hiccups. That's why they're, shutting things down the way they are, right? They're tightening things up. It says, verse 3, "Whatever you have said in the dark will be heard in the light, and what you have whispered behind closed doors will be shouted from the housetops for all to hear." And like the scriptures say, they shooteth in secret at the poor, right? So everything that they've done behind the scenes, right? The secret counsels, right? As the scriptures talk about, right? Psalms 83rd chapter, right? These, man, what's the word? It's like, let me, the crafty counsels, yep. And then I think that was the point. Yeah, the crafty counsels, man. Right? The secret counsels, the crafty counsels, all these things that have been done in the dark are coming to light, man. Right? Everything that they've done to tear down the tribes is being exposed, and they have to stop that exposure. But like it said, let's go back. Luke 12 and 3 in the NLT. "Whatever you have said in the dark will be heard in the light, and what you have whispered behind closed doors will be shouted from the housetops for all to hear." And the housetops, right, can be likened unto us, screaming out in the on the internet, man, right? Both going to the camps, right? And doing these lessons, right? This is us shouting from the housetops as those watchmen, right? Relaying this message out to the people, man, right? You know, shouting out this testimony of Yahawashi, and that's what they're attacking right now. You know, so again, you know, the famine of the word is coming soon, right? And they're attacking the testimony of Yahawashi. You know, so Lord willing, that was an edifying lesson through the Spirit and power of Yahawashi. I want to close by giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahawashi Bahasham, Rekah HaKudash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well. And peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, pushing this word with all truth, righteousness, and sincerity. Shalom, shalom. Kwame Yasharella and the Bible Ball. Shalom.